Majesty's forces, the King's forces weapon of choice was the Brown Bess. The reason the Brown Bess had become the weapon of choice was the British Army had unified throughout the entire units this weapon that they were trained proficiently in how to use, and so much so they could get up to a rate of fire close to 3 rounds a minute. The reason this would have been so important was in the Battle of Antrim you had maybe 300 soldiers garrisoned here in Antrim, and they were coming up against 10,000 supposedly United Irishmen converging from all sides into the town. You've heard the saying, bite the bullet. So the cartridge was retrieved from the cartouche, they bit the lead bullet off in their teeth and they loaded the prime. They then cast about to load, they poured the rest of the powder down the barrel of the weapon. They could tap load, they didn't ram, they tap loaded, they learnt the technique of tap loading. They spat the bullet down the lead ball, down the barrel, tapped it again, and they put up their weapon and they fired. And also then, while they were reloading, the second line would come forward to fire. So there was always a rate of fire going on all the time. As you were sort of advancing and you were stepping over a lot of dead bodies, you soon would have lost the interest of keeping the attack going. And that's probably was one of the big reasons that so few men was able to hold off so many at that particular time.
Morning from Antrim Castle Gardens, a very sunny morning here, and as you can see on this morning of the Battle of Antrim reenactment, things are coming together very well. All the sets are being built and getting people running about in costumes.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're honoured to be joined by His Worship Councillor Mark Cooper, the Mayor of the Borough of Antrim and Newton Abbey, who very kindly will officially launch the event. It is no exaggeration to claim that the Battle of Antrim was a pivotal battle in the 1798 rebellion, and indeed a crucial event in the history of Europe. In the late 1700s, revolution was in the air, with the American Revolution of 1775 to 1783 and the French Revolution of 1789 to 1799. These revolutions and the tensions between France and England, leading to the outbreak of war between France and England in 1793, inspired the setting up of the Society of United Irishmen in 1791, firstly in Belfast and then in Dublin. Wolfe Tone considered a rebellion would only work with French support, and he persuaded the French to send a major expedition under the command of General Lazare Hoche, which sailed for Ireland in 1796. Unfortunately for the United Irishmen's cause, storms scattered the fleet, and though some ships reached Bantry Bay off Cork, no troops were landed. However, the United Irishmen were determined to rise, and one of the first engagements was at the Hill of Tara on the 26th of May, where the rebels were defeated. However, in Wexford, from the 27th to the 30th of May, they were successful in taking over the county and indeed most of the southeast of Leinster. This is commemorated in the song Kelly the Boy from Killane. The rising in Antrim and Down was delayed by British infiltration of the organisation and the jailing of the leaders. But on the 6th of June, Henry Joy McCracken, having been elected leader of the United Army of Ulster, issued the proclamation, "Army of Ulster, tomorrow we march on Antrim." An estimated 10,000 plus rebels in Antrim rose and quickly took Larne, Ballymena and Randalstown, and by the time they converged on Antrim, they had control of most of the county. In Down too, rebels were successful in taking several towns, and the overall objective was for McCracken to take Antrim and join up with the Down rebels. With the Antrim forces routed, the Down rebels had initial success in Saintfield, but this initial success was before they were defeated in the Battle of Balnahinch on the 12th of June. The last major battle of the conflict was the Battle of Vinegar Hill on the 21st of June, where a massive military force defeated the major remaining United Irishman army. Other than a couple attempts at invasion by French, the rebellion was over by the 12th of October with the Sea Battle of Tory Island. But had the rebels, with their overwhelming numerical advantage, triumphed in Antrim and joined up with Down and the southern rebels, the history of Ireland and indeed Europe may well have been very different. Henry Joy McCracken goes forward under a flag of truce with James Hope to ask Major Seddon to surrender the town, and as in Randalstown, his men will have safe passage. He makes the point that he has 10,000 men and other columns are converging on Antrim, and the garrison's position of 150 men is hopeless.
Good day, gentlemen. I am Henry Joy McCracken. I have been elected leader of the United Irishmen for Ulster. I have 10,000 men at my disposal, and this is my aide-de-camp, James Hope, in charge of our Spartan band of 300 men.
What are you trying to tell us today? That you think that you're going to overrun His Majesty's forces? Do you have that ambition? Do you think you are that good? Look at you. You have nothing but ploughing instruments and tools of the farm trade. All you're used to is working on the farm. You're not used to a battle like our men. We're hardened troops.
Well, you know, we've already taken Larne, Ballymena, and the men from Randalstown have fled to here. I think it'd be wise, and you'll save a lot of bloodshed if you lay down your arms.
Well, you know that's never going to happen. Like, you have your 10,000 men, but you've got to remember one of my men is worth 100 of yours, for starters. We have cannon, we have well-trained muskets. We're not going to scatter and run. Your men are known to run at the first sight of trouble. Sure, you've done that all your lives. What makes you so different now that you're going to do that?
I am James Hope, second in command to Henry Joy McCracken here. I have the honour of leading the Spartan band. They don't have farm implements. They have muskets, 300 muskets. They've been in action 3 times, and each time they've won. I see no difference why they won't win this time. Now, we're asking you, as in Randalstown, we let the men in Randalstown walk out without their arms, but with their lives. And we're suggesting you do the same.
I do really appreciate the offer, but I think you're just having sort of a bit of a jest with us here in this battlefield today. I urge you once again, think of the women and children back at home and the husbands that they're going to lose. Their income, I'll be putting them out on the street. They'll have no ties. They'll have no way to pay their ties at the end of the year. Surely to goodness, it's more wise just to go back and get on with life and let us get on the way things have been going on.
As I said to you, you're outnumbered in terms of our 10,000. Many of them are pikemen, not farm implements. They're specially made pikes. They've shown their mettle against cavalry. They've stood to cavalry. They've stood to cannon, and they've stood to volley fire. And on each occasion, they have been successful. And I see no reason why your 150 will do any better when we've beaten bigger numbers before.
But this is the big mistake you make. You think we're only 150. Give me an hour and we could be 1,500. We have sent for reinforcements out of Belfast and elsewhere, and they're coming speedily to our aid. So you will just all we have to do is mess about and keep you for a while, and then we'll put you to the sword.
During that hour could be very costly for you. And of course, we have many men outside to block the reinforcements coming. 10,000 men, 3 columns, all emerging in Antrim. And as you can see in the square here, we have 300 men with muskets. They're called the Spartan Band, and the reason why they're called the Spartan Band is like the Spartans at Thermopylae, they won't step back. It's liberty or death for my men, and we will give you death if you do not give us our liberty.
Well, that will be told in the hours to come, but again, it's the last chance I'll offer you and urge you to retire and go back to your farmland and get on with your menial work that you're meant to do and keep the land at peace. Why all this disruption whenever you have everything that you want?
We don't have liberty. We don't have freedom of expression. We don't have freedom of religion. Now, I've said to you that our Spartan band alone could probably take you out, but what we have are another 9,000 men with pikes and everything else, and they're very happy. They're determined men. They're prepared to give up all that you're talking about for liberty. And we will fight, as I say, my Spartans will not back down. We will have, like the Spartans at Thermopylae, we will stand firm to cavalry, cannon, and your musket fire. At the end of the day, we will push you behind those walls at the very best, and we will then outflank you and shoot the officers particularly. So gentlemen, you're in the front line. So I would suggest that both of you value your lives, and you have wives and children probably. If you value those lives, step back now. You can put down your guns, you can leave the cannon and march out in good order.
Well, it would seem this is only but an air wasting breath on speaking to yous. Yous will not take the advice of his embassies from His Majesty. Well, all I can say is you're 300 men, Spartans or whatever you want to call them. Well, why do you need the rest? We're game to take you on. You're probably low on gunpowder. You're on a bluff, and we're going to call your bluff, and we're going to bring you out onto the street.
So now it's to the death, Henry.
Indeed, so be it, gentlemen.
And it's liberty or death, and it could well be your death.
Goodbye.
Seddon refuses to surrender, and cannon is fired together with volley fire from the troops, causing the rebels to split, pikemen to the right and Hope's musketmen to the left. In the actual battle, Lieutenant Colonel Lumley ordered a cavalry charge which cut through the rebels twice, before being ambushed by the pikemen and Hope's band of armed Spartans.
His mother and father were from the Highlands of Scotland. He came to. He was born in just outside Templepatrick, and he was he first went to school. He was 5-year-old, but he only stayed at school for about a week. But while he was at school, he picked up this book, and it was about ancient Sparta, and that's how we have today. His band was called the Spartan Band. Lord O'Neill came from Hillsborough the day before the battle, and he was attending the magistrates' meeting. That magistrates' meeting was called off the day before, but he hadn't had notice of this. So as he was travelling from Lisburn to Antrim town here, he was nearly absconded by rebels. He just managed to escape by the skin of his teeth, So while he was attending the meeting, the magistrates' meeting, of which quite a few actually did attend, all this fighting was going on the outside, so it was time for them all to escape. As he escaped, one man pulled him off his horse. Lord O'Neill shot him. Another man called James Clements stabbed him in the side, and it was from then he then was taken to Shane's Castle where he lay for 7 days and then he passed away. But he wasn't bitter, and he didn't tell anybody who stabbed him. He let that person go free. He joined the local army and went to the West Indies to fight. But on his deathbed, Lord O'Neill forgave the half rent of all his tenants, which was quite a feat for someone like him to do after being stabbed by his own tenants.
Hip hip! Huzzah! Hip hip! Huzzah! Hip hip! Huzzah! Hop! Yeah! Hop! Yeah! Hop! Yeah!
The Battle of Saintfield took place on the 9th of June 1798, and it was a rebel victory. Those graves there are 2 insurgents.
And the Battle of Saintfield was actually the first major conflict of the 1798 rebellion, which took place in County Down. And so that was the first major one in County Down. And it was a short but bloody clash from the 9th of June, which actually resulted in a victory for the United Irishmen against the government troops. And so the rebels, after their victory at Saintfield, they then moved on to Ballynahinch with the aim of capturing the town. And you get a good view there of the battlefield, and I think I can actually see one of the soldiers here taking aim. And as you can see, here's another soldier with his pike. And this is actually Henry Munro, the leader of the Down forces, the rebel forces. And he opens the fighting with a discharge of cannon.
Fair play. You've done the company of one. Well done. Well forward. Well forward. Well forward. Well forward. The show is a lovely place. You'll love it. Well forward. Well forward. Pleasure for you, Adrian.
Marching towards the scene of one of the most significant battles in 1798, Kiltycreeva Hill, Ballinamuck. But these French soldiers, pikemen and English forces, are actually members of the 17th Infantry Battalion based in Longford and historical reenactment groups from all over the country. They've come to Ballinamuck to join locals in a major battle reenactment, which has been in the making for a long time.
I see women coming onto the battlefield now, and they're looking for their loved ones, them alive.
On the 8th of September 1798, war-weary pikemen who've marched from the west join a camp at Ballinamuck, but one of them soon becomes the first victim in the Battle of Ballinamuck, which lasted just a half a day.
This battle in 1798 was the last pitched battle in Ireland. It was also the last major event of the 1798 rebellion in this country.
So it was very significant historically?
Yes, it was. The English won, the French were given pardon, and the pikemen were slaughtered.
Was there much loss of life in it?
500 people lost their lives in Ballinamuck, around the hills of Ballinamuck, mainly pikemen, local pikemen from around the area.
350 people took part in the reenactment and several thousand came to watch history being repeated almost exactly as it had happened 200 years ago. But the local organisers in Ballinamuck say that while the afternoon was about a battle, it was also about peace. The village has a new peace garden which commemorates 1798 and aims to promote peace in Ireland. Eileen Magner, RTE News, Ballinamuck, County Longford.